Are you smart enough to see me? I don't have to hide anymore. Ready to hunt?
Color like it. See that.
Buat oren.
Kuning sama gua, Cok. Kuning sama gua di ruang listrik. Tadi dia benerin kabel kayaknya. Gua lagi download data.
Iya, Cok, oren kayaknya.
Maybe can. Good. Good.
Oren.
Çıkar koyunları. Çıkarırsa. Oğlum. Sen kodan ne mi görmüşsün? Yıkıştı solo. Un balancer. Vậy ra tuh kan sandukta. Kalau bina pergi dekat daerah. Rimon. Moi. Mama aja.
Kuning lagi anjing. Oren. Dia good partner katanya, kayaknya. Soalnya tadi langsung diituin, Cok. Langsung meetingnya diberhentiin. Dia good partner kayaknya. Kuning. Alah, kuning lagi kontol. Oren.
Oke, oren dulu. Kalau salah kuning, Cok.
Oke. Kalau salah gua aja gua.
Nanti hijau pencet lagi nanti hijau. Nanti kalau ada sabo biar gue yang benerin.
Oke ya. Oke. Coklat.
Oren. Woi, coklat lama kau. Oren. Oranye. Sama gue.
Halo. Dale. Hả mình nè. Cho ra khu. Khu là họ. Ủa thế cái gì nhỉ? Dadu more.
Awas ada gol, Cok. Ada gol. Awas satu lagi dia.
Udah gas kuning. Oren salah, Cok. Gas kuning. Sorry, Oren. Kuning.
Memurta. Yang kalian ngomong.
Udah gas kuning. Orang salah, so. Aduh, hai. Dominasai.
Gol mas, gol cok. Gue emang impostor tapi awas ada golnya cok. Butuh satu lagi dia.
Iya. Gol hijau. Tadi lu bunuh di mana? Ruang listrik kah? Tadi biru di kafe. Habis itu gas hijau.
Murta. Ya halah cium.
$2 juta. Ini ngomongin $2 ya, bakal bangkrut. Anjing, itu mikir. Punya dirinya taruh buat polsek. Kita tanggal 11 mah ya, nanti daftaran ulang deh. Daftaran ulang tanggal 17.
Jadi aing langsung UPR. Terus daftar. Ya udah agak kalau ngeliat masuk.
Itu nanti daftar ulang.
Asli enggak, bohong gua tabuk lu.
Iya nanti nu prestasi mati dulu lah, daftar ulang nanti.
Hijau gol itu. Oke, Ninja Seri.
Iya.
Tina kayu. Kartu dah tina kayu.
Kunci sih bilang sih.
Yang dulu yang kasih.
Di lumayan. Hijau gol. Kami makan mayat di domestik.
Tiduran. Jadi pernyataan bisa.
Bahasa ini.
All tasks completed.
Bismillah, tawakkalna billah.
I foresee everything.
Kian nggak sih? Sama gua lo keliling-keliling nyari suara tembakan tadi. Kan bukan. Ngeyel tai. Pihak
as prophesized.
My name is Jim DiDonato. For nearly 20 years, I have been leading educational and mentoring programs, and I have trained hundreds of teachers, leaders, and mentors across many countries. I've been a teacher and served as Chief Executive Officer and Superintendent of Schools. I understand that working with youth means helping them develop respect, values, pride in self, and pride in community. We all have an obligation to ensure that youth in our communities are prepared for their own leadership journey. Welcome to Developing, Mentoring, and Supporting Youth Leadership. This lesson is Building Trust and Mentoring Youth. In this lesson, we will define mentorship and the role of a mentor. We will look at how to construct a trusting mentor-mentee relationship for mentoring youth. And we will identify best practices for creating programs to mentor youth. Simply stated, mentors are role models. Research shares that the presence of positive adult role models are the building blocks for healthy youth development. It is the role model's responsibility to be a positive citizen and want to make a difference in the community. To understand the individual nature of youth in their learning, thinking, gifts, emotions, and even in the completion rate of an activity or a project. To understand youth development. Many youth are more instinctual than they are intuitive, and this affects behaviors, impulses, and decision-making. To understand childhood trauma and how trauma affects relationships. And to be reflective. Be open to feedback from adults and youth so you can improve each and every day. Mentoring provides an alternative for youth whose parents are unable to fulfill a mentoring role and serves as an additional resource for youth whose parents are engaged in their lives. Mentoring is particularly effective for youth who have environmental risk factors such as poverty. A mentor is uniquely positioned to help a young person navigate school, life transitions, work, or career training. That is, if mentoring is done well. Around the world, there are many mentoring programs that fail each year. Mentoring programs that fail can have detrimental effects to the youth instead of the positive gains it was designed to establish. My goal is to help you identify, to get into, and to practice within that space where mentoring is optimal, where teaching is optimal, and where learning is optimal. The optimal mentoring space is a safe space for youth to learn and grow together. It is a space where youth can fail forward, and it is a space that provides a sense of belonging, clear relationship boundaries and agreed upon expectations and goals. Remember, you are mentoring the next generation of leaders. They want to and they seek to look up to leaders. Defining mentorship and mentors. Mentoring is a form of leadership, and like leaders, mentors are influencers. A good leader influences everything he or she touches. But also remember that the leader, in this case the mentor, is influenced by many things: by family, friends, education, pop culture, religion, economy, and government. Be mindful that your influences do not affect the child, but rather you influence the child to influence others in a positive manner. Mentoring is a process. Mentors need patience. The key to the process is that you recognize you are building leaders of today for the future of tomorrow, but not only for tomorrow, because youth can make a great impact in their community now. In this process, we recognize that leaders are not born, they are developed, and every person is a leader, whether it is a parent, neighbor, community leader, custodian, or president. Mentor on the small things and the big things. Those you mentor will remember those small teachings later when they're facing big challenges. Mentors are navigators. Mentors show the way. Youth are dependent on mentors for direction, so you need to make sure you chart a good course. Mentors are servant leaders. Servant leaders share power. They put the needs of others first. They help people develop and perform as highly as possible. The best mentors do this. When mentoring youth, it's about the person, not the product or the project. It is about opening the doors of possibility. The outcome is not how many projects were completed or if 1,000 widgets were produced. Mentoring, like leadership, is not about the leader, but those people the leader serves. Integrity needs to fill a mentoring relationship. Remember, corrupted and deceitful people mentor youth all of the time for nefarious purposes. And like positive mentors, they are committed to a purpose and they influence people to achieve that purpose. The values of a servant leader are the same as the values of a mentor: integrity, humility, respect, and telling the truth. Mentors are committed to a purpose and they influence mentees to achieve the same purpose through well-determined expectations and an overall goal to impact the community in a positive manner, today and for the future. Now, let's talk about creating a plan for mentoring youth. Mentoring youth is both an art and a science. The science is the knowledge, the art is the performance. Both require a lot of practice. Youth need explicit teaching. Teach rules explicitly, teach expectations explicitly, and teach boundaries explicitly. Don't expect them to happen naturally. Teach them, model them, then let them try. Don't be scared to let your mentees try and fail. The best mentoring comes through supporting youth through failure. There is time for exploration and wonder and investigation, but the most important things need to be taught explicitly. Youth think differently and problem solve differently and perceive information differently than adults. This is important. Pedagogy is the practice of teaching youth, while andragogy is the practice of teaching adults. There are thousands of books written about pedagogy and hundreds more about andragogy. If you know both, you will be able to successfully instruct children and adults. Overall, the key similarity to instructing youth and adults is to make learning relevant and applicable, to make it real to them and relevant to their lives. It is essential to build trust with youth for an effective mentor program. Trust is the foundation of all relationships. Therefore, trust is the foundation of mentoring. A mentor builds trust by relationship building, a commitment to the mentee and the program, and through servant leadership practices. Many youth, like many adults, trust the world around them until trust is broken. And most youth have had people in their lives already break trust. They know what trust is, but the trust is not fully developed in their brain and heart and can be confusing for them. So then, it is up to the mentor, the adult, to establish the trust in the relationship. Trust and broken trust are internalized. It may be internalized as a specific event, or it may be internalized as a generalized event. We don't know how each child internalizes the broken trust, and most likely, they can't express themselves maturely enough to tell you. When building trust, it is important to listen carefully and value the ideas of your mentees. to allow youth a safe space to share information, to follow through every time and always do what you say you will do, to be consistent and committed, and to never communicate out of emotion. Make your emotion purposeful. Be purposeful in your high pitch and your low pitch, in your loud and your soft, in your approval and disapproval, but never lead with your emotions. Again, in order to achieve purpose, the mentor needs followers. Without trust, there are no followers. Overall, there are 3 qualities effective mentors share: instructional, interpersonal, and ethical. Instructional qualities means that mentors must know their stuff. This is the science of mentoring and the science of the mentoring program. Interpersonal qualities means mentors must study soft skills. These are the relational skills, things like fairness, listening, tolerance, caring kindness, and being approachable. Ethical qualities means mentors must know and practice right from wrong. Trust from the entire community comes through your ethical qualities. The last part of the lesson is designed to help mentors gain best practices for a successful youth mentoring program. As a mentor, you should establish a safe environment. It is important that protocols are in place to protect yourself, the youth, the family, and the community. Have well-designed procedures in place and be structured. Have clearly defined and articulated goals and expectations. Include a level of flexibility to accommodate diversity of the youth, including age, gender, family dynamic, economic hardship, religion, ethnicity, and traditions. Incorporate activities that facilitate relationship building. Support and involve parents and families. Help them be advocates for their children and the mentoring program. Coordinate with other services and supports as needed. Especially know your social services, your youth services, and school services. Don't forget about local businesses and local government agencies where applicable. Successful programs have proper recruitment, screening, and training for mentors. Monitor the program often to make improvements. And every mentor should have their own mentor, someone to hold them accountable and provide insight. Studies show that creating a sustaining, mentoring relationship requires resources and support. Support from the community, businesses, schools, and families improve relationships and resources. It requires a framework. Although structure is secondary to authentic relationship building, it is still necessary to have a framework for short-term and long-term success. It requires knowledge of effective mentoring programs. It requires realistic expectations about challenges and benefits of mentoring. And the duration of the relationship is important. This requires commitment and consistency. A timeline established and agreed upon by the mentor and mentee is a best practice. Studies also show why mentoring relationships fail. The top reasons include mentor or mentee abandonment, perceived lack of mentee motivation, unfulfilled expectations, deficiencies in mentor relational skills, including the inability to bridge cultural divides, funding interference, and inadequate agency support. Youth internalize everything a mentor does: your energy, your love, care and compassion, and how you handle difficult situations, but also negative actions. They soak up your excitement to learn, your excitement to impact, your hope, and your optimism. Be purposeful in your excitement, in your intonation, and in your passion, and be authentic in your leadership. When I grow up, I want to be like my mentor. At the end of this lesson, take a few minutes and ask yourself, why would the youth say that about me? Your answers will help guide the path to a quality mentoring program and a healthy, trusting relationship with your mentees. There are several recommendations for continued learning after this course to be the best mentor and to impact the community in the most effective way. You should continue to study child development, specifically brain development, how youth think and perceive information. Learn more about pedagogy versus andragogy to understand the difference between instructing youth and adults. And learn from other leaders and mentors in the community and continue to gain trust of those leaders. And you should seek to have a mentor yourself for continued learning and guidance. For more on this course and to access related resources, visit us on the web.
My name is Cornelius Williams, and I'm a program manager for a nonprofit called Peer Forward, where we believe in a world where students have the power to dismantle systemic barriers to higher education and level the playing field for all students, regardless of race or income. We know youth can lift each other up to college and career success and lead change in their communities. Welcome to developing, mentoring, and supporting youth leadership. This lesson is encouraging skills development. According to the United Nations 2020 World Youth Report, the global youth population between the ages of 15 and 24 is 1.21 billion, or nearly 16% of the global population. UN projections estimate that number will reach 1.29 billion by 2030 and almost 1.34 billion by 2050. So, what can you do as a young professional to help prepare youth in your community for the workforce and adulthood? In this lesson, we will examine best practices for developing skills such as emotional intelligence, communication, teamwork, leadership, and project management in youth that are essential tools needed as they move into adulthood and seek employment. Here are 4 areas that will increase engagement and keep you focused on preparing for a brighter future. Developing soft skills. In almost every experience when working with others, both in person or virtually, soft skills are important if you want to be successful. Soft skills are personal habits that dictate how you communicate and work with other people. When working with youth, always be sure to model positive skills, such as asking for permission and using effective communication before giving any feedback or advice. This will increase the chances that the advice will be effectively received by your audience and increase their willingness to learn, a valuable skill you'll want to encourage. If you want to increase the effectiveness of certain skills in youth, you can conduct real-life scenario exercises. For example, you can group individuals together and present them with a situation that they may face in the workforce or community that would trigger their critical thinking, problem solving, and teamwork skills. Then have them share their answers and talk through what is the best approach. When working with youth, they often possess soft skills, but need to practice using them to increase their effectiveness. So I suggest creating a list of soft skills that you believe are necessary for young professionals. Skills such as emotional intelligence, integrity, effective communication, teamwork, critical thinking, organization, and empathy. Individuals who understand the importance of soft skills, and especially emotional intelligence, which is the ability to identify and manage the emotions of themselves and others, tend to be more successful and effective leaders than those who don't. An effective activity is to have your participants choose which skills that they like to develop or rate the skills that they possess from most effective to least effective. This will allow you to focus on what skills your youth want to develop the most and use their strengths to help their weaknesses. Developing hard skills. In the workforce and adulthood, there is also a need for professional skills or hard skills, which are gained through experience or formal training, such as college and technical programs. When working with youth and thinking about careers, have them discuss what skills do they possess that make them a good fit. When I speak to youth about their future aspirations, I ask them what qualifies an individual to work for that company or attain that career. Then we talk about who can help them and how can they acquire those same skills or experience to turn their dream into a reality. For example, a technology support company is hiring individuals with specific skills and knowledge about Adobe or the latest Microsoft Windows operating system. This knowledge base is considered a professional skill and can be acquired through experience or training. Some examples of other skills, valuable skills, are the ability to speak multiple languages, graphic design, communication, computer technology, data analysis, project management, web development, and marketing. Literally anything that you have expertise in can be considered a hard skill. So always reassure the youth that increasing their skills can set them apart from other applicants and will make them more valuable to companies. Developing a path to the future. As our youth prepare for the future, some may become overwhelmed when thinking about where they want to be in their career or the workforce and the skills that they have today. My advice is to have them map out the steps that they need to take from where they want to be 1, 5, and 10 years from now. For some, the steps to their dreams are not as clear as others. For example, to become a successful entrepreneur, there are many skills and lessons that you need to learn along the way to be successful. But when working with youth, I've found success in having them research individuals who are where they hope to be in life or their career and ask to interview them. This is called an informational interview, where you can ask about their journey and expertise, as well as expose yourself to new opportunities. Self-advocacy and determination will open doors of opportunities that they may have never imagined before. Developing your voice. As a mentor to young people, you are often exposed to the issues that they may face in their lives or communities and wonder how you can help. The answer is in the youth. What that means is if you allow the youth a voice or a seat at the table to discuss the issue and realize that they can be the solution or the agent of change, then you activate their commitment to leading the vehicle of change in their communities or their homes. As youth become adults and move into the workforce, it is important to help them realize their power of being solution-based thinkers. A project that can help build this skill set is to have a group of young people write down a list of problems in their community and share them amongst the group. Then have the group choose 3 of the problems and label them 1 to 3, with number 1 being the most important and 3 least important. Then have them write down or think about what are the root causes of the number 1 problem. After they identify the root problems, bring them together to discuss solutions within their control that they can create to fix the problems. Also, ask them to think about who can help them solve this problem and what resources they may need to accomplish their goals in solving the problem. This concept can be applied to issues within their lives, communities, and careers, and is the strategy for activating engagement in youth. As you continue to work with your community and with youth, something very important is to create a common ground or connection with something that they can relate to. This will increase buy-in and engagement. This can be your background, this can be an experience, or what drives you to make a difference, also known as your why. We all have something that motivates us or drives us to get out of bed and make the best out of what we have. Something that pushes us to give more effort and step outside of our comfort zone. We must help our youth realize that there is something that drives and motivates them to be great. This is what will keep them on track and focused on their goals when all else fails. Our youth are our future. Business owners, doctors, scientists, politicians, and teachers. So be sure to instill in them the values and skills needed to prepare them for the workforce. For more on this course and to access related resources, visit us on the web.
Health supplements, healthcare of Flinty.